What if everything you believed about closing a sale was slightly wrong? Most people think that closing is about talking more, pushing harder, or having that perfect script. But truth is, my brother, the best close don't convince two people to buy. They create psychological conditions where buying feels natural. Let me tell you, it's about subtle psychological principles that make customers want to say yes without pressure, without, you can say, awkward closing tactics or manipulation. Okay, so by the end you won't just sell better, you will understand why people buy. So let's start with the moment that decides everything before you ever pitch. First of all, I want to talk about the irresistible first impression. So, there's a effect called the priming effect. Your first few seconds just don't create an impression. They prime the brain. Okay, they hack the brain of the customer. So, if you are open confidently, calmly, with the clarity, the prospect subconsciously assumes, yeah, this person knows what he's talking about and he knows what he's doing. Instead of jumping straight into the features, start with the context. So make him feel like why this conversation matters, what outcomes they can expect, and why it's worth their attention. So you're not just selling, you're setting a frame. So the next thing that's mattering or that matters is the power of scarcity. Keep it early, not aggressive. Okay, scarcity isn't about pressure, it's about positioning of your brand, positioning of your services. So a simple line like, I only take only a few clients this month or each month, so immediately it increases your perceived value. People don't want what's available, they want what's selective, what they can choose, what they can pick. Okay, so the next thing is the mirroring and matching. You can, in the first 60 seconds on your call or your pitch, you can subtly match their speaking pace, their energy level, and their language style. This creates a subconscious familiarity. So the brain thinks they're like me, and yeah, I can trust them. Trust becomes before logic. Okay, so the next thing is unlocking deeper desire, the why behind what. Okay, people don't buy features, they buy relief, they buy status, they buy security, in sense of money or freedom. Okay, instead of what are you looking for, ask what is important for you now. So keep digging until emotion shows up. Emotion is like the real buying signal. Okay, the next thing comes is cognitive dissonance. Okay, cognitive dissonance, when people notice a gap between what where they are and where they want to be, their brain feels a tension. Okay, your role isn't to create fear, it's to clarify reality. What's the gap? When the gap becomes clear, the solution becomes solution. The next thing comes in the play is the reciprocity principle. Give the value before asking the commitment. Okay, you provide the insights, you do a pre-audit of the website, you provide the clarity, you provide a fresh perspective of the business. The brain keeps score. Okay, when you help first, buying feels fair, not forced. Okay, like what traditional sales people do. The next is the framing and the value proposition of your services. First of all, you have to always set a reference point. This is the anchoring the bias. Okay, if the brain sees a high benchmark first, your actual offer feels smaller, even if it isn't that much. Okay, context changes the perception. The next thing is you have to do the loss or the risk reversal. This is called the lost aversion. People feel lost twice as much as the given desire or the desire for the gain. Don't just say what they'll gain, show what they risk by staying what they are. Show them that you'll waste a lot of time, you'll waste or lose opportunities or the possible money. So inaction has a cost. Then you provide your social proof. Testimonials aren't begging, they are reassurance that you have worked for people, that you have experience in that same field, you have grip on that. Okay, you're saying like others like you made this decision and they're glad they did. See, there's a psychological trigger that uncertainty kills sales. People never want to buy from you if they don't know who you are and what you have done before. So build up the case studies, build up some good testimonials, and proof removes the risk. The next thing coming in the play of the sales is overcoming the objections. So you have to overcome the objections with empathy. Feel, felt, found. These are the core principles of the objection handling. So, you have to never fight for the objections. Instead, you can say like, I understand how you feel. Others felt the same way. What they found was, and then you are validating, not defending yourself. Okay, then you show up your case studies and blah blah. I already told you. The next thing is the yes set strategy. Okay, small agreements create momentum. You can ask questions like, does that make sense, or is that something you want to change? Okay, each yes moves the brain closer to the commitment, so they are moving step by step to the closing the deal. The next thing will be commitment. You get them to commit to you. Okay, remind them gently of what they have already did, like what was your past experiences like and what you have achieved already. Earlier you mentioned, like you can say something like, earlier you mentioned this was a priority, so are you thinking of buying something right now? So that triggers the brain. The brain wants to stay consistent with the past statements, like the brain wants to avoid the past bad experiences they had.